Hi. Okay, five things that cost less in Korea than it is in South Africa. I think number one would be electronics. Buying like phones, laptops, or any gizmos is actually much more cheaper in this side because all the tech giants are in Korea, so the cost of everything is much more cheaper.
True. Number two, just banking on what you just said, is the cost of internet and Wi-Fi ridiculously cheap compared to what we pay back home, and the fact that there's a lot of spaces that have free Wi-Fi that works. Number three
would be utilities. Utilities would be like when you like your rates, your waters, your sewage. Everything's much more cheaper in terms of living in Korea than it would be in terms of maybe in the city in South Africa. Like the cost is much more cheaper.
Cool. And then another one is public transport, which is number four.
Yeah.
Is public transport. Getting around in Korea is way cheaper than what you would pay at home. I was just saying to Joseph now that when I was in varsity and I was taking the bus, I was paying about 35 rand to get home, and that was 2009. Here it's 1,201, which is the equivalent of what?
Closely like
15 rand, 14 rand per trip. So it's easier to get around, and the same with the subway. I mean, you can think of the costs of the Gautrain compared to the 1,151. And then number five
would be education. I know when it comes to different schooling, the government subsidizes a lot of the students that actually come here. So in terms of education, it's actually quite cheaper, much cheaper than it would be in South Africa. But it's also area defined as well. So in the bigger cities, it might be much more expensive than in the smaller cities. So, but then it is a lot more cheaper than it would be in South Africa.
That's true. And I mean, obviously, variation as well in terms of like private school and all of that jazz. And then just in general, like the cost of living here is way lower than back home. Way lower in every way imaginable. So yeah.